Another classic Beckermin Live. We're going to go through the comments, and then I'm going to show, as if you read the description, basically I have some comic books and one other thing to show that I found in my mom's. Well, actually, my mom found this in her garage when she had her garage remodeled. Stack of books in there. It's basically an A-OK from me from the past. I was 20. I figured out based on notes in there and various things and just kind of get my memory jogged. It was right after I went to a convention in 2001. When I got back, I had to move apartments, and I didn't have a place to live right away. So I shoved some stuff in my mom's garage, pulled it back out. Some stuff got left behind. Forgot I ever owned it. So we have some comic books in here, a few bangers. I held a few out so that I can participate in Guess That Key. But yeah, it's an A-OK for myself. I saw your comment circumstances. Let's go through. If anybody wants the link, just let me know. I've sent it out to a few groups. So we have Jean Malo was first in line, of course. It's always you, Mark. You were always the biggest fan of me. Eli, hey, how you doing? Circumstances. I know you didn't like the thumbnail. It's a goofy picture. People saying hello to each other. Yeah, see? Hoarder's Hide gets it. I just skipped. Oh, well, I just read the comment. No, he doesn't get it. It's not that kind of A-OK. Trev, hey, what's up, man? Yeah, it is. It works, trust me. Looks like TJ's in here. David's Comics and Wrestling. Boy. Everybody, I'm trying to keep up. I suck at this. That's why I was hoping somebody would join. All right, so I've caught up. As I said, for those of you just joining, I found, my mother found, and thankfully she waited till I came to town. She said, got all this stuff. I want you to go through it. She didn't tell me until I got there that there were comic books in there. And unfortunately, I had to throw a lot out. They got damaged. Some of the comics got waterlogged. I mean, these were just sitting. My mom had, at some point put them in brown paper bags. But originally, they were just in moving boxes because I had to get out of where I was at in a hurry. This was the thing I knew about. And I actually sent a picture of this to Chris, the comic vet. This is my phone from when I was a kid. And when I got my first apartment, I actually used this phone in the apartment. So this is young. There used to be a Spider-Man decal here. It's since fallen off. Now I'm going to hook it up to a phone number that only Nikki Pancakes has. That's going to be how I do this. This is going to be the Nikki Pancakes hotline. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And at the Comic Viking, oh yeah, they were completely trashed books. You have to understand these were sitting in a garage since 2001. The ones that survived, some of them look great. Others, not so much. I saw Durs come in. There he is. Hi, Durs. And let's get into the comics and see what we got. Everybody just saying hi to each other. What is Spidey doing to that chimney? Yeah, David, I don't know. I'm not going to question it. It's going to be a great hotline phone for Nick and I. True story, I actually have a landline phone number, and we were talking about this on somebody's channel the other day. I don't know what it is. I've never plugged a phone in. But there is actually a phone jack in this corner. So I could theoretically receive phone calls on this, probably from telemarketers. Hope everybody's enjoying your Memorial Day weekend. Thank you to all who have fallen and paid the price for our country. I was glad E-Man came in and said something about the holiday weekend. I know my mom is off delivering flowers today. So thank you to everyone who paid the price, and spend time with your families today. Have a good weekend. For all those of you that are from America, at least, I don't know how many international folks we have in there today, but today is Memorial Day in the United States. I see Katie coming in. Trev. Yeah. I didn't see Katie's original, but all right. So here we go. For those of you who just joined, AR, I see you. Hey, this is the stack of books we're going to go through. These were found in a garage at my mom's when she went to remodel several months ago. She had like a new slab poured, garage extended. Had to get everything that was in there out. Found a bunch of my old stuff from a move that I left there. Still going through a lot of science fiction novels, fantasy, D&D stuff. But first up, we've got a comic book, Green Lantern, The New Corps, book 1 of 2. AR, and that's when the community started hooking up their novelty telephones. Yeah, I'm down for landline phone conversations. If anybody wants to start that club, we can do it. This is probably going to go to TM Nerdy. Proof that Becker once liked these guys. Book 1 of 4. We have an X Factor, issue 70. X Factor 72. I think this was me filling in holes. New Mutants, issue 3. First cameo of that Demon Bear. New Mutants, issue 7. I actually had to throw out some of the New Mutants books, but I had a 1 through 100. Some of them I'm still pulling out. And then I have multiple runs of that series. Like I said, I'm not going to show everything today. I'm going to show the books I've cleaned up, those that I'm choosing to share. Some I'm holding back for future shows, Guess That Key, that kind of stuff. New Mutants number 9. We're in a New Mutants run, folks. 18, first full Demon Bear. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, number 1. Own several of this. A lot of this stuff's going to be giveaway fodder. A bunch of Hulk books I already owned. We've got 325. We've got 326. 328. I'm going to get these off my keyboard. All right, 329. 332. I love the Gray Hulk. Still do. I did then. Still into it. 333. This actually is a pretty decent copy. 334. 336, guest starring X Factor. 337, also guest starring X Factor. 343. I've always loved this cover. 344. Beautiful Todd McFarlane goodness. Come on. Great cover. 352. We've got some Marlowe action in that issue, I believe. Now we found I went to a con during this time in 2001. So now we have a signed book. This is Detective Comics issue 759. not a key. I would sometimes just buy books at a con to get signed. And this is signed by Greg Rucka, and it says, Becker, world's greatest detective. And then his signature down here. Now we've got doubles, because anytime you're dealing with Mike Becker's collection, you're going to have doubles. Godzilla #1. Now we're getting into the bigger books, folks. These were the ones when I found them in the stacks. I'm going through this trying to remember, like, boy, I own all these books. I bought these books since then, and like I had them sitting in a garage. How about Nick Fury #1? Jim Steranko's series. Let's just appreciate that it survived the garage, and that one of these books actually had potting soil on the bag, but the bag protected it. Up next, another book I've bought since I bought it. Neat. How about Fantastic Four issue 11, First Impossible Man, who in Superman #50, which was one of the first DC comic books I ever read, we find out that Mr. Mitzelplix is also the Impossible Man. So yeah, banged up copy. Bought it at a con. Bought it again. Beautiful. Yeah, what a find. Let's get some reactions there. Yeah. All right. You ready for what's next? This is the book that had potting soil on it. How about ASM 41 First Rhino? Again, held up pretty well considering it was in my mother's garage for 21 years. I would have been 22 when I put it in there, and I'm 43 now. Well, I mean, retroactively. So the line you see Impossible Man Mitzelplix deliver in issue 50 of Superman is the same line he intros into that Fantastic Four issue with. But it was, 30 years later. So, yeah, we had that first Rhino. So what could be the last book I'm going to show today? Well, this was the first book I saw when I dug halfway in to see, because the top was all damaged stuff, and I'm sifting through it. And it was mainly 90s stuff, and I'm like, oh man, gross. Like, they had taken the brunt of the damage of all the comics, and these are all sitting in a grocery bag. And then through a yellow bag, I see this book. And guys, it's not the best copy, but it's a pretty good copy. So let's just leave that up for a minute and let the comments roll in. This is an A-OK to myself. This is from me. 22-year-old me knew exactly that I would love a first Kingpin. So yeah, and this story is true, and it's funny because I just saw, and I actually messaged him, because Biggie Shack's like, you hear all sorts of stories of people finding books for like $5, what have you. This is legit, out of my mom's garage. Been sitting there for 22 years. Didn't know I had it. Have bought in that book since and have it in worse condition. So I just upgraded myself. Yes, actually, my new background was inspired by Chris the Comic Vet. And Vet, I was talking about you at the beginning of this because this whole stop at my mom's house was to pick up this phone I had shown you a picture of. This is the stuff my mom found in her garage for me. This was my phone as a kid. I used it in my first apartment. For those of you just joining, these were books found in boxes that had been stored in my mom's garage in between moves. Just forgot about them. And that's the score. That is the score. So yeah, these are probably going to go get cleaned, pressed, and sent to old CGC. Yeah, that phone is awesome. I love that phone. And I love that it was my phone as a kid. And as I said, I do have a landline here, and I actually have outlet right next to my desk here where I go live from, that I think the phone's going to go on the desk. I'm going to plug it in, and I'm going to give one person the phone number, and that person is Nikki Pancakes. This is going to be my hotline to Nikki Pancakes. So, Hoarder's Hide, I thought I got all the comic books out of there. That's the funny part, is I knew I had books there, but I went back and grabbed them, and then there was one box that just got shuffled to the back. And this was a haul I probably didn't think of very much because it was very early on in me going to cons and getting like bigger books. And I guarantee I didn't have a lot invested in them, only because, and I say that because I didn't have a lot of money back then. So that's exactly what I'm telling you, Mark. It's only Nikki Pancakes is going to get the number, and that's it. And yeah, I just got lucky that the biggest books were towards the bottom and didn't get destroyed. So yeah, Scott, I haven't really thought about those books. Yeah, most of those books. It was more just kind of how I was living at that time too. I would just buy books that caught my eye. I would imagine that none of these cost me more than $50 because that would have been really where my budget lay with buying books. Yeah, I guess you'll have to. Do they still have those? The only reason I have a landline is we have cable and internet, and that came with it, and we didn't want it, but they said it just comes in the package. So I only get reminded of it when we're watching TV and like a number will pop up on the screen and we don't know how to get it to go away. It's always not the yellow page. Yeah, the white pages. White pages for. You're not getting it, Mark, unless Nikki Pancakes chooses to betray me. All right. The white pages section is tiny AF now. So that was it. That was the big haul. I hope everybody's Memorial Day is going well. I know Legion is at a cookout at his LCS. Everybody have a good one. We won't make this a long one. If you're watching the rewind, thank you. Have a good one, everybody. Now we can watch.